Hi, this is Bedrest Coach Darline Turner, owner and founder of Mamas on Bedrest and Beyond. And today is June 1st, 2015. Who would have thought that we would be already midway through June? I know it's been a while since I've done a video blog, but I posted on our Facebook page an article put out by the US Centers for Disease Control about when to feed your baby solids. And it was something that I saw and I tossed up there. And oh my goodness, the response has been amazing. I don't know if I've ever posted something that's gotten like over 2,500 hits in just, a matter of hours actually. And I realized, wow, this is a really kind of hotbed topic for mamas. And so I wanted to go over today what the article talked about and why it's important for you mamas on bed rest. So the article was talking about how in the US, moms are feeding their babies solids too soon. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And I have what they're saying is that the recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatricians, as well as U.S. Centers for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, and others recommend that infants not be introduced to solids before 6 months of age. And to me, I was like, of course, that's the norm. But as I read through this article, I realized, wow, this really isn't the norm for a lot of people. And as I thought back on my own history, I realized, yeah, there were a lot of people feeding babies solids far too soon and for far too many kind of bogus reasons. So let's talk about that. What the article said is that 40% of moms are introducing solids to infants before 4 months of age. And I mean, that is just startling. I mean, a baby at 4 months can't really hold its head up, can't really protect its airway. And so what the concern is that the infant will choke. And it's realistic because, babies, they're little. All they really know is how to suck. And that suck mechanism regulates how much they can swallow. If there's something heavy or thick in that milk, they may not necessarily be able to protect their airway. The other issue is that infants don't necessarily have the mechanism to take things on the tip of the tongue and push it back to the back of the throat. So they may just end up with the food in the mouth and they're trying to get it down. And again, choking can ensue. So the recommendation, of course, is to not feed infants anything but breast milk, preferably, or formula if mom is unable to nurse until the infant is 6 months of age. Now, they said that they saw this most often in mothers who were either formula feeding or doing a combination of breast milk and formula. And they saw this in 50% of the women they interviewed. I mean, 50%, that's a large percentage of women, of moms, of people that they're talking to who are actually doing this practice. So again, we want to stay to the 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding, preferably, or exclusive formula feeding. So, let's look at where did this come from? Who would even think to give an infant solid foods? And, as I thought about it, I can think back to my mother and grandmothers and everything. Oh, put a little pablum in that baby's milk so that the baby will sleep. And it's kind of like, but baby needs to eat. And one of the things that a lot of new moms and don't understand is that a baby's belly is the size of a baby's fist. So round your baby's little fist up like this, and that's the size of their belly. Like I see mothers like, well, I don't think they're eating enough. They didn't drink a full bottle. Well, if you look at their little fist, that little fist can't take, a full 8-ounce bottle. They just can't do it. And so babies are designed, they just can't take that much to eat every couple of hours, which is actually the physiologic norm, is what we should all be doing, is what babies doing. And sadly, we kind of, teach ourselves out of what our bodies naturally know to do. So baby is actually designed to eat every couple of hours. And breast milk, which is the chosen food for babies, is designed to be easily digested and to be taken in, digested, and distributed, nutriently speaking, in those couple of hours. So after a couple of hours, baby needs to eat again. what we in our culture have taken on is, oh, that's so hard. I don't, time, and I'm so tired. I want the baby to sleep longer. And what we're doing is we're really kind of messing up our baby's digestion by doing that. I mean, when we put too much food in there, our babies can get gas, they can get bloating, they can have gastrointestinal problems with digestion later on in life. And as we all know, it is a problem leading to obesity later in life. And we know there is a huge obesity problem here in the US. What moms seem to think is, well, the baby's always hungry. It's just how babies eat. Actually, if we were all allowed the time and the spacing to eat as we would normally eat, we would always seem hungry. We would eat every couple of hours because that's how normal digestion is really designed to be. You eat a little something and you let it digest, and then you eat a little something more. That's how we have sustained blood sugars. That's how we have sustained energy and metabolism. But again, we've kind of talked ourselves out of it. And in the process, we've talked ourselves into obesity, diabetes, and a lot of other problems with our metabolism and our metabolic systems. A lot of mothers, again, coming back to, well, I just feel like they need more. Again, babies know when they're done, because a lot of times you try to feed a baby something, they go, they don't want it. They don't want to eat it. They turn their faces or whatever. And mothers are, trying to shove something in their face. Stop. The child is telling you, I've had enough. Or they'll say, we talked about the sleep, or they say, the baby wanted the food that I was eating. Babies grab at everything. It's just them learning their world. And yes, they do put it in their mouths, but they're not necessarily going to eat it. If your baby grabs for your chicken leg, or if they grab for a green bean or something, they may hold it in their mouth. They may play with it. They're going to squish it in their hands. But it's really not them saying, Mommy, I want to eat it. They just don't. But what we need to be aware of, and I think this is what really kind of struck me with this article and the response to it, is we need to understand our baby's cues, and we need to understand normal metabolism, and we need to understand, just what can babies do. So, when we're talking about, the baby won't sleep through the night. Well, babies aren't designed to sleep through the night. Unfortunately, for some babies, it can take up to a year for them to sleep through the night. Other babies, it can take, with my kids, they slept through the night in like 8 weeks. I don't know why. But, my son did, my daughter did actually. But, and he would get up once or twice during the night. We'd nurse, he'd go back to sleep, I'd go back to sleep. But babies, they're designed to eat every couple of hours. And you just gotta kind of get with that. Feeding them more to make them sleep more. Yeah, they may do that, but you're causing gastrointestinal problems as a result. So moms, if you can, please, please try to allow the child to eat in their natural fashion. So the big question is, so then when can I give my baby solids? When can the baby eat baby food? When can I give them cereal? When can that happen? Well, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, this can be done when the baby has doubled their birth weight. So if you had an 8-pound baby, technically they're saying you should wait till the baby is 16 pounds. Now, I know for a lot of you, like, well, that'll never happen. My baby needs to eat more. If that's the case, nurse him or her more, or give them more bottle feeds in between. But again, try to wait until 6 months and give exclusively breast milk or formula until then. The bigger things that I really want to stress right here is you have to wait till your baby has independent control of their head. If your child cannot sit up and hold its head up without wobbling or, what have you, that child is not ready to take solids because they don't have control of their airway. You're saying, but you're talking about their neck. Yes, I am. But in talking about having control of their neck, that means they also have control of their airway. They have control of these muscles. If they don't, they're not going to be able to adequately handle solids and things in terms of talking about taking the food into the front of the tongue, pushing it to the back of the throat, and then taking it down. And your baby could choke. The baby needs to be able to sit up. And I'm not saying you're putting pillows all on the side of it, propping it up in the back. Your child needs to be able to sit up. Again, they need to have these muscles. They need to have the musculature to hold their head up, which will also say they have the mouth muscles to move the food to the back of the mouth and then take it down without choking. And again, you need to be able to see that your baby can tell you when they are no longer hungry. So the baby can pull away, the baby can turn its face, baby can shut its mouth. Because when a child can do that, there is that nonverbal communication, but you know the child has had enough. Otherwise, we see people shoving stuff into the baby's mouth. Baby's like, no. If they're spitting it back at you, these are signs that the child is actually, in fact, ready for solids. So, I wanted to go over this because, again, I had never seen a post that just got so many responses. People were talking about it, likes, shares, what have you, that I realized this really struck a nerve with moms that, why can't I feed my baby sooner? Or why am I not, am I not feeding them enough or what have you? And I really just wanted to reiterate, babies have very tiny tummies. They may look cute, they had a little fat tummy on the outside, but their actual stomachs are only the size, of their fist. And you have to remember that. The old wives' tales, and I know my mother said this, my grandmothers and everything, give a baby a full 8-ounce bottle. They can't take it. You're going to end up developing gastroenteritis, gastric problems, just you're setting them up for a really difficult time down the road. Secondly, you want to wait until the baby can sit up. Simply, you want to make sure that the child can actually swallow something that's more solid, thicker than breast milk or formula. You want to be able that they have good you want to be sure they have good head control and neck control. Again, talking about those muscles. And you want to be sure that the baby can actually kind of tell you, no, I don't want any more. And again, we're trying to be sure that this child is not going to choke, that it's not going to have gastrointestinal problems, that we're not kind of developing obesity in them, setting them up for diabetes, and also things like celiac disease. We're giving them things that they just cannot digest or handle. Eczema, when we start introducing things too soon, we can be setting our own children up for food allergies. So again, let them have the breast milk, which is, the preferred food, or formula if that's what's going on. And as much as possible, stick with that until your baby is 6 months. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this kind of broke down the article for you and, kind of gave you some of the rationale behind. But there really is some physiologic rationale for why we don't feed babies before feed them solids. Not that we don't feed them, but feed them solids before 6 months. And it's mostly about them being able to take the food in, have the neck and head control to be able to swallow, to be able to take the food in without choking, but also to prevent obesity, diabetes, celiac disease, gastrointestinal problems, and obesity later in life. So that's it for me, Darline Turner, Bedrest Coach, owner and founder of Mamas on Bedrest and Beyond. I hope this helps you out. Take care, mamas. Bye-bye.